it was multi-organ failure from the burns. She had severe burns of a significant portion of her body. So the severe burns led to multi-organ failure, right? So we had kidney failure, we had cardiovascular failure. So most of our systems actually failed following the burns.
It's quite sad that in 2024, you still find cases of domestic violence, and most times it leads to death. And in this conversation we're having is about a Uganda lady who resides in Kenya, and her name is Rebecca Cheptegi. She is an athlete, and right now she is no more. Her family are broken. She left kids, and she died as a result of her boyfriend, not even her husband. I'm not saying husband is okay, but our boyfriend claimed her life. In this video, you're going to listen to everything that happened to her, and also what people actually think of situations like this. This woman is just 33 years old, and a rising star just died like that. She would have lived and thrived into her old age, but one man, because of jealousy, envy, and according to the informations we're hearing, that there was a land involved that they were dragging about and stuff. But I mean, right now we would never know the woman's side of the story, and it's quite pathetic that her life just ended because she ended up with the wrong man. No one deserves that. Her children deserves their mother's love, but they would never get that anymore. Anyway, guys, let's go listen to what people think about all of this, and I will be back with my thoughts at the end.
I recently woke up with the news of Rebecca Cheptegi, which is a former Olympian, killed, brutally set alight by her ex-partner. The media covering the murder of this innocent woman that was killed brutally in the most horrific way, being set alight. And all they had to say is that she died, not murdered, she died. And it just makes me sick, because each and every time we see the media, specifically when they cover instances of gender violence, domestic violence, the most horrific act that has been committed by a man, they always paint out the man did nothing wrong. And I'm sick and tired of how the media is not calling this for what it actually is. This was not someone that died. This was a murder, someone that was brutally killed in the most vicious, disgusting way ever. And that the media is not calling this for what it actually is, because this person is definitely a monster.
Can you imagine being burned alive? This is what happened to Olympian Rebecca Cheptegi from Uganda. Less than a month after running the Olympics, like the highest point of your career, getting burned by a fire, her partner burned her to basically burn her 80% of her body was burned, and she's dead today. It was premeditated because he brought gasoline and poured it on her and burned her to death. I say this with a heavy heart because he did it in front of her kids. Most of the time, it's the people who are close to us. We need to reevaluate relationship, not just romantic relationship, but friendship relationship. Sometimes it's the people who are closest to us who are planning and plotting our death, who are planning and plotting our demise, who are planning and plotting our downfall. Sometimes it's your best friend, sometimes it's your close friend, sometimes it's your partner, sometimes it's your mother, sometimes it's your brother, your sister, sometimes it's the closest people, and in this case, her partner who did this to her. I came from church on the Sunday and they were arguing and he burned her and she died today. Or I don't know if it was today or yesterday she died, but it was reported yesterday, but she died today. This is the most disgusting thing because he did it in front of her kids. And sometimes you can only say this comes from envy. Some people are so jealous and envy of what you have going on in your life, and they're the closest to you. Please reevaluate your relationship. I am praying for this woman and her children to have some peace. Her kids are fine and they're alive, but they're really not fine because they are going to be grieving, and in the worst way, because you watch your mother basically burn to death. He's the loser whose name is literally, his middle name is Damon. It's still alive, has 30% burnt. He literally poured gasoline on this woman and killed her. I'm just praying for her kids and her family.
Imagine this, you're dating someone who decides out of an argument all of a sudden to smear you with petrol and set you on fire. This is what happened to Ugandan athlete Rebecca Cheptegi, who had a series of conversations and confrontations with her boyfriend following an argument that led him to being so upset that he decided to smear her with petrol and set her on fire. I cannot even believe this. So the question that many people would be asking is, how does it get this bad? And also, many people are warning female athletes to stay safe as they are vulnerable, especially due to an ongoing series of investigations saying that domestic violence happens to female athletes all over, not just in Kenya.
So I woke up to the news that the marathon runner Rebecca from Uganda died after being set on fire by her boyfriend. He poured gasoline on her during a fight and lit her on fire. And she had burns over 75% of her body, and then she passed away, and they announced it today. So this whole situation has just been incredibly horrific. And I think I'm just feeling it in my chest because violence against women is so incredibly prevalent, and it's like seeing my worst nightmare, or any woman who has been in an abusive relationship, their worst nightmare actually come to fruition is just incredibly heartbreaking. And I don't know the situation of their relationship, if there were red flags, if this was how he was, or if this was out of nowhere. I don't know. But I was talking to my husband this past week, and I was telling him how much I just want this to be my life, talking about domestic violence, because it's such a cancer in our society, and I told him sometimes I get nervous that people are gonna judge me and just think just move on, oh my gosh, she's still not over her ex-husband after my ex had strangled me. And I don't know, just feeling fear that maybe people in my immediate life wouldn't understand why I still talk about it. But this is the reason I still talk about it. It has nothing to do with not being over it. It has everything to do with if we can help just one person leave an abusive relationship, and I had received a message a couple years ago saying that someone was engaged and they called off their wedding because of red flags that they had seen after hearing my story. And it's messages like that that make me know that I'm never gonna stop talking about this. So I guess if I'm cringy or if I'm embarrassing, I'll just keep being cringy and embarrassing. Because if it even helps just one person. So I'm sending so much love and prayers to her family. It's absolutely horrific. Yeah, I don't have much else to say.
I am so irritated, bro. This shit really breaks my motherfucking heart, G. For real. My heart really breaks for Rebecca. She just competed in the Olympics a month ago, and her ex set her on fire. Yes, what the fuck? That is so sad. You really cannot enjoy something good happening in your life without having somebody coming and being jealous of you. Now, I don't know the whole situation, but it's really giving jealousy, bro. I really take this shit to heart so bad. Like, what the fuck? Why would you set her on fire? What the fuck is wrong with people? Like, I really cannot. My heart and my love goes out to her family, like, for real. Like, I really cannot believe this shit. Like, that is just so crazy. Like, that's so sad. I'm so lost for words right now. I can't even think. Like, I'm so irritated. That's so sad. To set somebody on fire, you have a real, very bad mental illness, bro, on everything I love you do. And it's fucked up. It's really fucked up. I'm so, ooh.
I'm so sick. I'm so sick of the abstraction of the media. Like, why are we referring to a woman being set on fire by her boyfriend, murdered? Ugandan Olympian Rebecca Cheptegi dies after being set on fire with gasoline. By who? Why are we missing out the key element? Also, it's pronounced Rebecca Cheptegi, sorry. We as a society need to get better at reading sentences and actually understanding what they're trying to convey, because that sentence is not neutral. That sentence abstracts from the fact that there is a perpetrator and that perpetrator was her boyfriend, and it abstracts from the fact that there's a literal femicide epidemic going on. She did not just die. The use of the verb dying is absolutely absurd in this case. She was murdered. She was brutally attacked. The use of the verb dying in this sentence abstracts from the fact that this was an intentional attack. It abstracts from the fact that this wasn't a, like, natural death. Like, the verb dying invokes the ideas of, like, a natural cause. It says, like, this person has died. It is a very passive statement. It places the onus on her death on the body rather than on the perpetrator, which it should be. And that's why the verb should instead, in this article, be murdered. That's why the verb should say attacked. Words matter, word choices matter, and the fact that there is such a huge epidemic going on in terms of femicide, but also in terms of, like, media literacy and, like, people knowing how to read a headline and discern from it what a certain source is trying to convey. This is why we teach English language in schools. I need people to understand this first and foremost. If you are someone under the age of 18 right now, or I guess 16, and you're wondering why the hell you have to go to English language classes, this is why. This is why. You need to be able to see why someone is choosing the word die instead of murder. You need to be able to discern what is the passive verb, what is an active verb, what, like, the whole thing. Sentence structure is so important, like, so important. And the media will, like, twist and turn things because they feel like they can, because they have a way with words and they know that people don't. They know that the general public just digests the information, doesn't necessarily look at it critically because we haven't been taught to do that properly. Or actually we have been taught to do it, but it's been so devalued in our society and STEM subjects have just been, like, placed way above that actually no one gives a shit anymore. People just read things. Anyway, this is just one example of hundreds. Just right now, you've got the pensioner in France who has literally been taking her perpetrator, her rapist, to court. The man who organised her gang rape multiple times. And the headlines are being like, oh, she's seeking revenge. Huh? So now we're conceiving as justice as revenge, right? Makes sense. And then obviously you've got the whole thing about Palestine and how the news is just reporting the most absurd titles. Completely abstracting from who is setting the bombs off, who is dropping the bombs, who is invading who, like. And this is another thing, and this is why I will always be a proponent of people learning new languages, is that the ability to learn another language has made my English language so much better. The fact that I've had to identify verbs, I've had to identify sentence structures and translate them and try and figure stuff out in a different language, in a different tongue, it means that then I understand the English language so much more intimately because I'm having to translate between them. Now, that's a major segue and I could probably talk about that for hours, but, like, I feel like there's been so much emphasis placed on STEM subjects in a global landscape. Like, oh, what's useful to the world? What's arty-farty? What's, like, just fairy-fairy? Like, no. We have a fake news epidemic. We have a media literacy epidemic because the fact that these humanities subjects have been devalued. And this is why. And now we get this. And now the media can just manipulate us even more. Great.
Hey, yo. I hope you're well. So, today I'm here to tell you ladies, right? Whoever is listening to this, I don't care whether you like me, you don't like me, whatever, right? But if I told you are dating a man, if I told you're with a man and you got, by any chance, you got a little bit more money than him, if I told you have a better job than that man, right? If I told maybe you are, I don't know, but you're kind of like a little bit doing better than the man that you're with. This is my personal advice. Girl, leave that man alone. Should I say that again? You guys leave that man alone. Because guess what? What's going to happen? Let me tell you a pattern, right? So you're going to love him. You're going to do better. Maybe you're going to get a promotion at work. Maybe you're going to start your own business. Maybe you're going to go abroad. Maybe you're going to drive. You're going to buy a little car. Or maybe you're going to buy a better car than him, right? That man is going to start to resent you. Should I say that again? That man is going to start to resent you. Lucky, right? It's not going to, not all of it is going to like just happen out of it, like just like that, right? He's going to start low-key resenting you. He's going to start low-key hating you. Because that's men and their egos. You know, I remember this time when some guy on social media were like, well, with a woman, he can get more money and still, you know, date a man who doesn't have like more, in like the same money or even more. And they're like, well, with men, once we get money, then we can, you know, even love the girl who got literally nothing in their name or got nothing going on, and then we still love them genuinely. And then I'm here to tell those guys that, have you met yourselves when you're dating a woman who has more money than you? I kid you not, those guys be resentful. When you're looking for these, oh yeah, I want a man who can, you know, I want to marry the man, right? You know, if I told you have like some little money and then you feel like you want to get the man who can love you unconditionally because you are the one, the breadwinner, and you're the one with the money, that man don't love you. That man, I tell you, that man don't love you. That man is there for convenience. You want to test him. Let him get the same amount of money and we see whether he will still stay by your side. I promise you he will go looking for somebody else. Because he never liked you in the beginning. That's the reason as to why I'm telling you, if I told you ever do better than the man that you're with, by all means drop that man. Why am I saying this? Why am I even rambling? Where is this coming from? Some of you might be asking. Y'all, have you heard the news about like Rebecca Cheptegi, that girl? That I think we all know. If I told you watch the Olympics and whatever, we all know the Ugandan who was staying in Kenya, where the Kenyan boyfriend set her on fire. Yeah, she just passed away. I think today or yesterday, she passed away because the man was jealous. Yeah. So this girl goes ahead to follow her dream, to pursue her dreams, goes, represent internationally. I'm not even talking about locally. And guess what? It rubs the ex-boyfriend the wrong way. He's like, how dare you? How dare you even, do better? How dare you even go and represent Africa or East Africa or Uganda internationally? How dare you? And y'all think that this is not a lesson to y'all? Yeah? This is not a lesson to y'all? You know, one thing that I've actually tried to, read some more about the whole situation. And they say that they broke up with a man. Like, she broke up with a guy some time back. And the guy was stalking her for some time, right? They even reported the issue to the police. And the police, African police, right? They just probably brushed it off, and it led her to lose her life. I mean, if I told this is not sad, I don't know what it is. I don't know what sad is if I told you listen to or you get to know this information and then it doesn't really start at you. Because and I'm not talking about that's the only one. Hey, there have been cases in Kenya where these girls who actually go to the whole Olympics and whatever are being killed by their boyfriends or husbands, stabbed, fallen dead, like strangled, now her being set on fire, and y'all are not seeing a pattern. And these are the just few examples that we know, because these guys are famous figures. And then you go ahead, you get your own little money, and then you go ahead to date this guy who is almost constantly, I remember when I had just gotten some money, right? When I went abroad and whatever, I had a boyfriend who I won't say really. I don't really want to come on here and then start. I don't know whether he watches me or whatever, but it's been a while. So I do remember the little, it started off like, yeah, I'm happy for you, go girl, like, I'm proud of you, you're my girl, whatever. And the more that, the money, I started getting a little bit more money, a little bit. Yeah, I started seeing like a little different insecurities, jealousy-ish, envy-ish kind of side of him that I didn't even know existed. And guess what I did? I ran. Because that man, they start like, oh yeah, you're the one with the money, ha ha ha, Miss Moneybags. Oh, you're the one with the money, ha 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 ha. And then you do all these things for that man, buy him stuff and whatever. And you think that he's going to love you more because you're the girl, you're his girl who's getting money. And that motherfucker resents you to his core. So if I told you hint on any kind of like jealousy, if I told you hint on your partner being jealous, because this is men. These are men that we're talking about, when they be like, oh yeah, well, a man can love a woman without money, but a woman can't. Well, have you, like I said at the beginning, have you met yourselves? Have you met men who are dating women with money? Well, as a woman, I wouldn't be jealous of my man getting more money. Of course, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to benefit from that. But when a man is not doing as well as the woman that he is dating, of course, he knows the insecurity starts to stem in. He starts to think that, oh yeah, maybe you're going to get another person who is better or whatever. And then even when you're not really thinking about it, I'm telling you that's going to be on his mind. Because I remember this guy literally, vividly taking to my face, talking about my friends say that you are, you're going to leave me for somebody else. And in my mind, I had not even thought about doing something like that. But he already had it in his mind just because I got some bit of money. So please don't date men. Don't let society tell you, oh, you have to settle because men who have the same money as you are already taken or looking for somebody else or whatever. Please don't, because you might end up losing your life from some motherfucker who just felt jealous and envious of you. Man, this world is really sad. I feel like it's really fucking sad. And yeah, that's the reality of the life that we live in right now. And if I told you need somebody to really spell it out for you, here I am, trying to actually give you some insight. If I told you doing better, please drop that man. I don't care how this comes. I don't even care how bad I sound. Leave that man alone. Look for somebody better, because there is always. Please don't have the scarcity mindset of thinking, oh yeah, this is the love of my life and and I'm going to stick beside him. And you're the one with the money. Well, that man won't stick beside you if I told he was the one who got the money. Most chances, like the biggest of percentage, won't stick by you. Or they will have you by their side, but they also go ahead and get somebody else. So what are you settling for, girl? If you have your little money, why are you settling for a motherfucker who got nothing in his name or less?
Updates. Yesterday, I posted a video of Rebecca, the Olympic runner who was set on fire by her Kenyan boyfriend, okay? So this morning, she passed away at the age of 33, okay? This domestic violence.
This is Rebecca Cheptegi. She's a Ugandan athlete who was found today doused in petrol and burnt alive. And she's currently in critical condition as of my time filming this video. The alleged suspect of this crime is her former boyfriend, and she just competed in the Paris Olympic Games that just passed, not even a month ago. Unfortunately, we've seen in recent years that for female athletes, particularly in East Africa, this isn't an isolated incident or case. In 2021, Agnes Tirop, whose picture is over here, was brutally murdered by her husband in 2021. And this wasn't even a month after she'd broken the world record for the women's only 10,000 kilometer race. In 2022, Damaris Mutua was brutally killed by her boyfriend, another talented Kenyan female athlete. But you can notice that there's an obvious trend here. The perpetrators of these crimes are their intimate partners, either their boyfriends, their husbands, their ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends. And I think it just speaks to just the level and the scale and the scope of gender-based violence, particularly violence against women and girls, and how it can impact people in every single sector and form of society. Nobody is above this crime. And it just got me thinking about how successful women, talented women that are driven and have achieved so much, can be brought down by jealous, spiteful, hateful and evil intimate partners, people that don't want to see them succeed, don't want to see them win. Dangers of just jealous men, dangerous men. If somebody is jealous of you, especially, I think it's a unique situation when it's an intimate partner. These cases just show the extent and the lengths that these men are willing to go to in order to ruin these women's lives and to potentially end their lives. We have to stay alert. We have to be alert to these things in terms of, even if it's small things that you notice with your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it is, these sorts of traits are so dangerous and can be so malign, but the capabilities of these people, it's truly scary. And I really want to put this message out there to anyone who's in some form of an abusive relationship, and your partner is showing these sorts of traits and signs. It just goes to show you that the lengths that some people are willing to go to in order to dull a woman, to bring her down and to just ruin any chance she has in becoming successful and achieving success. It's genuinely frightening. I just wanted to put this video out to share their story and to not let them be defined by these tragic circumstances, but rather to highlight and bring awareness to this issue of gender-based violence.
Anyway, guys, you heard it all here from different women giving their opinions and thoughts. Domestic violence is not something that any woman should, continue to stay and endure. If you're with a violent man, run for your life. Your life is important. If you don't even have children to your family, this woman would have achieved so much more for herself. She was at a breaking point, winning and, thriving, and then this man came and just ended a star. And it's actually heard also that he also got burnt in between and whatnot. But I mean, the police and the government of Uganda and Kenya, they are on the case, and I hope that justice will be served to this woman, and may her soul rest in peace. Anyway, guys, please leave your thoughts in the comment section after hearing what everyone had to say, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.